I've been away for about a week, and I recognised that the videos leading up to that break were quite negative. But the reality is that's the healing journey. There's no point me sugarcoating things and just I think removing things or try to project something that isn't real. I just think it's always important to be true and transparent. So although I might feel one way in one moment, once I've processed and healed beyond something, of course my um, outlook's going to be completely different, or at least evolved. Now I still feel strongly in the same way the videos were, in certain aspects of my life. I'm not a fool. I don't put up with people in my life who have no value to me, or they just keep leeching and things like that. I'm not going to go on a huge tangent there, but that doesn't shake. That doesn't change just because I evolve and I improve. I still hold people accountable in the same way I hold myself accountable. But there's certain things that happened over the past week that literally it just it made me just have a little bit of perspective. I think the reality is that when we go through hardship and trauma, we can suffer more than we realize. So I think what's quite evident when I haven't watched the videos back, but I understand, I know the context of them and I've seen them before I had the break. Now, it's not such a huge transformative break, is it? You wouldn't go, within a week, your whole mindset's changed. Well, I got to spend time with my daughter and that shifts me entirely. Um, so yeah, it's those moments when I realize how, like, I talk about it a lot where I'm not happy. I'm not trying to do that to, again, I don't do these things to try to make people feel sorry for me. I'm not doing that. I'm just explaining the variation. And of course, I know it in myself, but of course, the longer you're in a bubble, I guess, or a status quo, a situation, it just becomes normal. And my normal isn't particularly happy. It's just existing. That's what it feels like an awful lot of time in my life. It just feels like I'm existing. Now, I find comfort in that to a degree. I'm quite relaxed in general. I might not come across as relaxed sometimes in my videos, but believe me, I'm quite chill in my own space. I'm happy. Like my days just blend amongst themselves. So I've got my book I'm doing, which I'll cover in a moment. I like playing video games, I like music, I like watching TV shows, I like movies. So there's always something, and it's harmless. So I'm just in my own little bubble. But you do recognize life's passing by, and maybe there's experiences you could be having. And when I'm with my daughter, that's when I come alive. And it's not all, look, I'm not always the best version that I want to be. And I think there's a frustration within that because, like, you can, I've said it back before, you can have everything you dream of. And if you're still healing, you might not necessarily transition into that 100% immediately. So where not, I'm not like my best self at times. I'm not happy. I'm not always 100% happy. I'm content. And I didn't want to travel. My daughter didn't want to travel. We're supposed to see each other in the Christmas. That was the plan. But her mum wanted to travel. Like, it's not that we didn't want to see each other. It's just that we didn't plan to, and it's a lot of travel for me. It's a lot of travel for my daughter. She was already spending Halloween with her friends, so it was just a given. But because she was being forced to travel, which I've said all along, I'm not going to go too deep into that dynamic. But I've been saying all along, the travel was never for my daughter. It was always what her mother wanted, and this shone a light on that. But of course, when my daughter needs me, I'm there. So she wanted to spend, if she's got to travel, she wants to spend time with me. So I'm like, okay, I'll have to come. So, but once we're together, it's fun. It's an effort. It's a 2 hour drive there and back. It's obviously money and all sorts, and it's just so brief. For like 4 days, I think we had from Sunday to Thursday ish. But it's not like the whole, not the whole days of those. So we only really main days were Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But like I say, once we're together though, it just makes me realize like what I'm missing, and it's quite sad when I hear her side of it too. She carried a lot for herself. That desire to be with me, and processing that, how she can make it, how it can happen and things. I don't put pressure on her, It's like figure it out for yourself, to a degree. I'm not being rude there. It's just that I don't ever want her to have a regret, and I don't want to force a lifestyle on her. You know what I mean? So it's like when the time's right, you'll know, and you'll say what you want to say. But yeah, she wanted her nose pierced. She's been talking about it for a while. It's not really my forte, but she wanted it done, so I'm like, okay. Then all of a sudden, her mum didn't want to have it. I don't want to go on a huge tangent there, but I just told my daughter, do what you want to do. I'm always of that mindset. If it's not hurting anyone, it's your life. As long as you understand the consequences, good and bad, you do you. So her mum's saying no, not yet, but she's always like that. If it's not now, it's never. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not says it's going to be there. It's going to be there. It's like my advice is just listen to yourself. You'll always have people trying to tell you can't do this or tell you to do that. And it's like, I'm just telling you, do what you want. So we get to the piercing place and she was hesitant. And I said, right, like my opinion on this is if you're hesitant because you don't know if you want to do it yourself, like if you don't want it done, then I would say don't do it because clearly it's something you might regret then. So you don't want to do it. If it's something you're a bit scared of, I think overcoming your fears is important. So maybe just get on with it, really, because that's what you're coming for. So you've got one or two ways there. If it's because your mum's saying she doesn't approve at the moment, I said, just ignore that. I said, if you do that, if you're always going to be worried about someone else's reaction to things, you're never going to do anything. So, sometimes you just got to take the bandage off, and Band-Aid and just do your own thing. Don't worry about the barking. That was my advice. I said, up to you what you do. But if it's because of someone else, you've got to stand on your own feet, But anyway, yeah, that was a bit of a weird issue because me and her mum don't talk, so it's always through her. But she was acting weird towards her after and things. It was always, it's all control. I don't want to go deep with them with that side of things, but it's just always interested listening. When it comes to health, they think they know everything. It's really strange. They got other sides to them as well where they're like that, and it's like it drives me crazy. I can't even listen to it. It's like this is just a mental case. No formal, no education, not much experience, but it thinks they know everything just because other sides of their family know everything. You get people like that. Just because someone in the family's got experience with this, they think they're the messiah with it. It's like, yeah. See, my mum's a nurse. Like, she worked in hospitals. She's worked in old people's homes. She's been there, done it. She's been in all those places. She's witnessed all sorts of situations, And I think I'm pretty sure she even reached out to, because she knows doctors, so she can message them, and they gave advice on the piercing because, I don't want to go too deep with this, but it just made me laugh that she'd still continued, Yeah. But anyway, that was interesting, just coming out my little bubble to that little bit of chaos. But there's other sides that blew my mind. I mean, this isn't really supposed to be a spiritual one, but I mean, I was thinking of doing my tarot. I don't think I'm going to really introduce it in this video. I've done enough in previous. But what was interesting, if people follow my journey, you'd know I've been trying to sell my gaming laptop. All my videos have been recorded with it, and I want to upgrade to a desktop PC. I didn't have the funds to build one, so I have to sacrifice to get it. But I was more than willing to, sell the laptop. It'll put me at a disadvantage temporarily, and then I can finish the build. But I was making peace that if it doesn't sell soon, I'm just going to keep it. So, and then it'll take me longer to build the computer. And I kid you not, this is literally, if people know me, I don't give a shit if anyone believes me or not. This is literally what happened. So I thought to myself, because I was traveling to my mum's, so it's 2 hours away, 100 miles, 2 hours. And I thought to myself, well, this could get me in a bit of a pickle. Like on eBay, if I do that situation where you announce that you're not going to be available for a week, no one's going to buy anything. So it's a frustration, but why not just take the boxes with me? Someone buys something, I can just package it and send it from there. Not ideal because more hassle getting things in the car, but I thought I was going to do that. But even when before I left, I just thought to myself, if it doesn't sell like today, really, I mean, I was going to take it with me, but if it doesn't sell today, I'm just going to keep it because I was getting more comfortable with keeping it and just be a bit more patient. And like, believe me, I check my phone a lot. So I'll always know if there's an email. I'll know if there's an update on eBay. I know all these things. When I left the house, there was no update. I get in the car. I've put everything in the car. Got in the seat, sorting out my phone to do the map. Not that I don't know the way. I like to use the map because then if you've got traffic problems and all sorts, and you can definitely, and I like to know how long and stuff like that. So I'm setting all that up because obviously I'm using the phone at that point to look before I travel. And someone paid for or made an offer for my laptop, literally what I wanted for it. So I listed it a little bit higher than maybe I should. And I wanted to drop the price to, I think it's £750. Well, I want to do 749. And remarkably, I'm sitting in a car sorting out the nav thing, the map, and someone made me an offer £750. So it's literally within a pound of what I actually wanted. That I was going to update it when I arrive. I was going to change the price to 749. Because then I get like 720 something, and I thought that's the minimum. But I think realistically, it's too much competition, of other people who have laptops too. So we'll do that. That's where I'd sit. So I got literally the price I wanted, literally just before I left. Like, if you don't think about like things are supposed to happen, I've already said in other videos, I seem to have just in time blessings. I seem to get like things happen just in time. It's not like really early. It might be perceived as late, but really it's just in time, like perfect timing. And that's happens all the time. It's just mental. And then I post that, and then the next day, again, I was in a similar situation, thinking I might just, because I was trying to sell my iPod, because I was in two minds. I like the iPod. I like the fact it allows you not to have subscriptions, but I recognize I end up with a subscription anyway because there's always a need for it. Like I've always got like my Bluetooth headphones, noise cancelling, and all that stuff. Alexa devices. So in the end, you think it would help me with some money. And you never know, like with technology and things, especially things that are old, will the screen break? Will the battery deteriorate? Will it just break in general and it's worthless? You might as well just get some money for it. And like I say, that sold as well. And the person was really, really impressed with it when they got it. It was nice. It's nice to know that it's going somewhere good. But overall, it's literally so like I don't know if the quality here is the same as all the other videos because you can't just, well, at least not I'm aware of, you can't just switch your settings from one computer to another. You're going to have to literally start all over again and hope that you've got it as similar as possible, really, and hope there's no issues. So before I got this graphics card, and this computer is really powerful now, like I'm really impressed with it. I'm like, this is outrageous. Like compared to where I was with my gaming laptop, which was fine, to now the PC I've built is just mental. I'm like putting any game on, and it's just crazy powerful. And I'm like, this is really nice. This is nice. but before I got the graphics card, which I needed the laptop to sell to buy, I tried recording on this computer and the sound kept breaking and it was an absolute nightmare. I couldn't create at all. So that's again, like I say, there's going to be teething problems because I know the laptop worked. I had the settings how it needed to be. If I press record, it records. Now I've got to hope it works and I need to test it over a period of time to make sure there's consistency, because at the moment I don't have confidence. Even though the computer's really powerful, there could be like energy spikes. There could be all sorts. There could be an issue with the board, like the motherboard, the main board. I'm not aware of. There might be a USB port that's just playing up. So until I've used it consistently, I don't know. So anyway, that's for technology, of course. But like I say, that selling that laptop allowed me to build what I've been wanting to build. If anyone's seen me over the past month or two, I really wanted to build a new computer. And it was impossible. I literally couldn't. As much as I wanted to, I was getting parts here, parts there, but I couldn't finish it. There was no chance. The only way in the immediate situation was to sell a few things. And I've done incredible. So what I'm going to do is just show a little bit here. Before we get there, because I don't want to lose track, it was interesting. So I took my tarot cards with me. And I actually asked Spirit about that. I said, did Spirit help me sell my laptop? And it was like, yes. Like, I can't remember the exact cards now, but these were absolutes. These are I don't usually get like iffy cards that are like maybe, maybe not. These are like direct. I can't remember exactly what they were. There was that. And then I said about getting back on to finish this book. I think it was either the 6 of Wands or the 8 of Wands. I can't remember now, but it was the communication one, advanced communication. So they wanted me to get back writing it. It's quite obvious to me. And then the other thing I was asking, because of where I was, like at my mum's with my daughter, I was like, did Spirit make all this happen to give me a break and get me back around people and things? And it was, I can't remember the card. I know the card, what it looks like. If I can find it, it was, I think it's the 6. I think it's the 6 of Pentacles, or it might be the 8 of Pentacles. I think it's 6 of Pentacles, where it's like giving, receiving. You know, it's a bit of generosity, but it was something you needed. Let me see if I can find it. Just to put it into context, because, you know, people can interpret what they want. But for me, it was crazy. I was like, it felt like that. It felt like I needed this. I needed a break from what I'm doing. I feel burnt out, exhausted. I feel a little bit more fresh now than I was before. Like I was burnt out. Even when I turned up, I was exhausted. I spent the first 2 nights like literally up really early in the morning. I was passing out in the evening on the floor. Weirdly, my daughter thought it was strange, but I was just knackered. You know, my energy shifting all over the place. And then I was getting up really early, and it was a bit of mental. My sleep pattern's still a bit out, but I was getting a bit more peaceful, and it was shifting in a positive way, and I needed that. Because to be honest, I was going more in a dark place, more, maybe getting a bit more resentful, a bit more fed up. Because my circumstances, I'm not going to go deep within that. It's still not fair, you know. It's still not fair, and it's still hard to see. I think the breakthrough, if you like. Yeah, I mean it is. But then the day I was due to come home, I think it's the day or the day before. I think it was the day before I was due to come home. I hadn't sold a book like all month, really. I think I sold one earlier in the month. I can't remember the day, you know. But the day before I travelled, someone in America bought my book, my Losing Your Mind to Find Your Soul book. And it seems to be the only, that's the one that's selling at the moment randomly, every like maybe 2 a month or something. But it was just the timing of it. And it seems to always be America at the moment. So I don't know if that's leading something. I don't know. But it feels like it. And like again, it's all timings with these things. It's like you couldn't make it up, you know. Where the hell is this card? Maybe it is the last one because it was when I did the reading. Wait a minute. Trying to, where do you want it? You can never find it. Oh man, this is what I mean. Like when you shuffle it, you couldn't make these up. I can't even find it at all. Like, you know what I mean? If it comes, it comes. But maybe I'm. What on earth? Yeah. Oh, 6 of Pentacles. That's the card that come out when I asked about like whether Spirit made all this happen for me to be around, you know, having a break and be around my daughter and stuff. And it was yeah. That was my absolute yeah to me. It's receiving, isn't it? I'm getting goosebumps or chills. Anyway, so there's that. Let's just have a little look. I just want to show again. This is just me providing an update. Realistically, going forward for the foreseeable future, I don't know how much video I'm going to create. I don't know if I've already said it, but I've lost 6 subscribers. I went, oh Christ, that's terrible. I don't want to be rude to people, but the reality is it doesn't bother me because I know I'm going to lose a lot of people before I gain before I gain followers. I'm going to lose a lot of followers. So, like, effectively, people are going to fall in and out of interest in me in general. And I get it because my content's so different. 1 minute I'm talking about spirituality. Then I'm talking about maybe deeper life issues and trauma and personal growth. Then I'm talking about society and politics. Then I'm sharing gaming content. It's not for everyone, is it? Like, I know that. But the reality is I see it as, I'm not saying I'm the star, but I am the product. So if people are interested enough, they'll either look beyond the content they don't want to watch, or they'll be just as interested in watching that because it's different, you know. And it's good, but like I say, if someone's only picking for something, then they're going to lose them, and it's fine because the thing with me, I'd much rather have 5 people that are genuinely interested in the content than a load of people who aren't. Like, what's the point? You know? So I'm comfortable with it. I don't really care, to be honest, without being rude to anything. I'm not trying to be like arrogant, but it's just, I'm not a follower sort of person. I don't need it, you know? So anyway, let's go over to the YouTube, TikTok, eBay for a minute. So actually, I just wanted to show it really. It says, look, year to date, and that year to date is just now. Like literally, I haven't sold anything all year. I don't want to. 1,449. Now, you could say you've sold. I personally believe Spirit's helped me acquire that. It's helped me get rid of some things I didn't need or I wanted to upgrade. And I've had it before. Like, if anyone see videos in the past, I don't know if they're on YouTube, though, to be totally honest. Back in 2023, I needed to sell something fast, like one of my computers, and it seemed impossible because it's so expensive, you know, and it's sold. And I usually get what I want, like price-wise, because I'm not greedy, but I don't undervalue, you know, I just right price. And sometimes you think it's impossible, and it happens. Like recently, I got my steering wheel. Just to put context a little bit. I've got this. I had a different model that's slightly older, still just almost as good. This is the newer model. It usually retails about £100 more, but when you go on the used market, it's not so different, you know. But this works with the PlayStation and PC, and mine was Xbox and PC. So I was like, you know, you can just sit and do nothing and just be fed up. I just thought it was in perfect condition, but I'm going to sell it and hope I can get the model I actually need. And I managed to do it like for like, and it only cost me about £30 more. And I was like, that was a great that was great. So things do tend to work out in, I don't know if you call them small blessings, but it's not even small blessings. I just think it's a case of what you need at a given moment, you'll have. But, you know, but reality is we all have things we need to be doing. And for me, it's my book. And that's why I'm saying I don't know how long I'm going to do videos at the moment. So you can see what things I've sold if you just look briefly here. I got my iPod. This is the money I receive. So it's not the final price. It's what I got. So that was £140. That was £750. But it's what I took home is £728. So for my iPod and a little speaker thing, I got £133. Yeah, of course I'd love to have more money, but what can you do? My laptop, yeah, I think it's great. I think, but it would have just been sitting in a bag, not used very often because it had been replaced by something far more powerful. So you could sit there and say, oh, it's too nice to let it go. But if it's going to help get what I need done, then I might as well do it. And £728 when you haven't got a lot of money isn't something really to say, no, I don't need that. I need that. Yeah. And then I sold my PlayStation, a PlayStation 3, and a person, I don't know what they did. I did talk to eBay after, to be honest. So someone bought it, and then they cancelled the order. Then they bought it a week later. And then a week after receiving it, they put a claim in to return it. And I didn't understand because by the time I clicked anything, it said eBay have already refunded them. They don't need to send it back. You still have your money. But I spoke to eBay later because I had another thing. I wanted them to release the funds early for the iPod because someone left nice feedback. And I just thought, I'll talk to you about the refund because I don't understand what happened with that. And it was just, apparently they said it was broken in transit. I very much doubt it. So I think they've got the money and they've got a PlayStation. I mean, it doesn't affect me personally because I've still got my money, but I still think it's a bit of a scammer. I personally think they've scammed eBay out of some money there. Unless there's genuinely something broke, but I don't think so at all. You know, just can't trust some people, you know. But yeah, anyway, there you go. So I thought I'd just show some stuff there, really. I could, I don't know if it's even worth it, really. Let me just to show that I've built it. So I thought I'd show the box, really. This is the box to the graphics card. Radeon 9070 XT. It's incredible. It's so powerful. Mental. I've got that retail price, £559. I was looking at the tracker to show how much it was. It was about, I think, £800, like just a few months ago. But the prices have come down to retail price on Amazon now. So £559. And a comparable graphics card from a different brand is about £800. So, you know, it was a no-brainer. I've put it in, thinking if it doesn't perform, I'll have to try and save. I'll have to see if I can get the other more expensive model. But it's been like mental good, like absolutely crazy. I've got 180 hertz screen. I don't want to bore people, but literally this card can deliver 180 FPS on pretty much most games. Usually it's about 120 FPS, all maxed out, and then you can add a frame generation and like a bit of AI frame generation thing where it fills in gaps with the frame rate and it can actually double the speed and all sorts. But even if you don't have that, I could play the latest games all about 120 FPS, all maxed out. So you go, I don't even need the frame gen. Then I add the frame gen, and it's like, well, we might as well. It doesn't seem to be lagging in any way. The picture quality seems to be just as good. This is nice. I was previously, I don't want to bore people. This is the geeky side. I was previously paying £20 a month on my laptop for GeForce Now, which is connecting remotely to like stream games. So you own the games, but they're being hosted on powerful servers where they process the games with really expensive hardware, and you paid a £20 a month. And at first I thought it was fine. Then some games I would notice, like, you could tell natively at their end it was probably brilliant because of the bit rate in encoding, even if you watch Netflix, but with the bit rate with fast movement and things, I was noticing like problems with the textures and stuff, the graphics, and that started bothering me. And I just thought you need to be playing games like natively with the system. That's your system needs to produce the performance, not some off remotely. So I thought if we get it finished, it saves me £20 a month anyway, and I've done it. So like I say, though, my recording is going to be hopefully fine. But at the moment, I don't know. And I'm hoping this isn't turning into a train wreck, to be totally honest. See, some people might just think, what is he talking about? It's the same as before. It's a completely different system. So it's like, I don't know if it's the same as before, It's the same hardware in terms of my microphone going to the audio interface that then plugs into a computer. And the camera will still do that. But again, it's whether there's spikes and things, whether there's issues with the rest of the setup, and whether I've done the settings exactly right. Like, there might be issues there. So I'm hopeful it's all working out well. But going forward for the rest of the year, I'm not sure I'm going to be on camera. I might do with gaming, but I'm trying to figure out how to share games. I don't want to bore the living shit out of people and start pumping out hundreds of game videos. And then it sometimes prevents me playing games because I think, I need to share that, so I can't carry on. Like, let's say I want to play on and just get further into a game or something. I might think it's going to mess up the recordings, though. But I'm not in the mood to record. I just want to chill out. And that's where the problem. So I've got to figure out what I want to do with it rather than keep pumping out videos and doing that. But really, I want to be doing... I took a break from the book to spend time with my daughter. And then for the day she was going back, I got up early and I did a chapter. And I did a chapter before I travelled as well. So there's 2 new chapters there. And that means the book's progressing, but it's not advancing because I need to be editing the book, not writing new stuff for the book, if that makes sense. I just need to edit, but I'm still adding. So of course, it's like the book's getting better, but it's not getting finished any quicker if I keep working like that. So reality is I'm going to be working on a book, even though I've said in other videos I might not, or I've had enough, blah, blah, blah. It will get done. Now, whether it comes out this year, I don't know, because I don't want to be stupid and sort of like release something just because I say, I really want it done this year, and then it's not as good as I want it. That'd be dumb. That'd be really dumb. It's like, oh, you reached a deadline, but you're not happy with the book. That doesn't make sense. If it comes out this year, fantastic. If it doesn't, then so be it. It's been a challenging year. It's been a challenging year. I've done a lot of video content. I've had to switch systems here, and I wasn't always in the mood to do the book, and I think that's fine. So I'm not really going to beat myself up about it one way or another. I think everything happens potentially like how it's supposed to, maybe not in the time frames always, but ultimately, it will get done. Especially the fact that every time I ask Spirit, should I work on the book? Yes. And, if anyone's spiritual, if you're not spiritual, of course, you're just going to think it's all mental. But if you are, if there's something you're supposed to be doing and you keep putting it off, Spirit will find a way to make you get back to doing it. They may take away, like for instance, where they've helped me build my computer, they can shut the thing down as well. Energy spikes, all sorts of shit, If they don't want me on it, So it's up to me to find that balance. Otherwise, they'll find the balance for me effectively. And I'm no doubt about that. So people might think, oh, whatever, but it's like maybe not aware of the things that happen in life and realize that maybe there's deeper reasons as to why it happens, whereas I am acutely aware all the time. So it does keep me on point. So it keeps me focused and it gives me direction. Because, like, for instance, if we talk about like where I'm at in life, I can be frustrated with my circumstances. I can distract myself with other things. But ultimately, I know in this moment in time, my priority needs to be the book because that's my life path. That's the path I'm on. That's what needs to be happening. All the other things is noise. For good and bad, it's noise. The focus, the what I'm supposed to be doing is the book. Whether I'm behind or whether I'm advanced is that it's irrelevant. It's just that overall that's the objective. And I think that's maybe something that people need to figure out a little bit in life is figure out what's the objective. You know, it can be, you could distract yourself with all sorts, and even jobs can like get in the way and all these things. Well, it might be the job is the objective, you know, but I think it's for people to determine and figure out like what they actually should be doing, and maybe don't keep putting it off. Now, I get frustrated that I never seem to see a positive breakthrough. You know, I do get resentful because there's a chapter I was writing recently. I don't know if I can just show it. I'm not going to share the chapters. I'll share the last paragraph if I can get it quickly enough. Let me just see if I can get it just quick. So when it comes to topics for like, not just really books and even videos, it can come from all sorts of aspects of life. And it's not always about me personally, although sometimes it stems from that. What it is, I think about things I'm going through or something that triggers me. Then I think about like my opinion on it and how suppressed other people would be. So like I never allow anyone to paint me in a box. I never allow anyone to sort of like try and tell me what to do. I don't do any of that. You know, I don't care about the repercussions. But I recognize some people are suppressed in life in general, where maybe they have to conform, and it's just the way their standard of life is because of what's expected, especially family. So usually, if something happens with me, it's not that it's deeply personal to me. I take a broad look. So if something triggers me, I kind of help. It's not when I write, it's not that self-indulgent. It's literally like, so someone might read it and think it's about one person. It's rarely ever is it one person. It's usually I'm thinking of this person, then I'm thinking of that person, and I'm thinking of that, but then I'm thinking of a stranger, and it's literally that's how it all works. So this chapter, for instance, it started with me getting really irritated by my mum. She doesn't mean bad, but I've had it my whole life, not just, but through, wouldn't say not just through her, because she's not really done it so much. It's more other people. But when she was saying it, even though she maybe didn't mean anything by it, and maybe it was about specific things rather than something bigger, it irritated me a lot. Like it made me angry inside. Because she said you're like lazy. And it might have just been maybe you've just left a cup out or something like that. Because it's the word lazy, it would take living shit out of me, to be totally honest. And I was fuming inside because I've had that labeled at me my whole life. No matter what I do, you're lazy. You know, it's effectively people expect you to be what they want you to be. And one of the things I've found, it's when you're relaxing or you're going through a downtime or you're just transitioning through a period of life. It's usually when the biggest weight comes on your shoulders. You know, people expect you to always be productive. And it's like, you don't see my day in, day out. You don't recognize that I'm awake at 3 o'clock in the morning and I could be productive doing anything. You know, people don't put value on the work I do, for instance. You know I do my videos and I'm consistent with it. Even if that's all I did, there's plenty of people that only create videos. That's enough. To me, that's enough. And yet I do my books. Now, there was this chapter I literally wrote in an hour and a half. Early in the morning, I woke up at, I think it was about 4:30, and I'd finished it around about half, no, I think it's about 5:30, something like that. I think it's about 5:30, and I finished it by 7 a.m. I was literally, so everyone else was asleep, and I wrote a chapter of the book. So the reality is, if I can just make money doing what I love, then my life can be free. That's what I crave. Some people consider that lazy, and it's like, why is that lazy though? Why can't we live? Why can't we strive for better? Why is it always got to be you have to work yourself to death? It shouldn't be how long you're working. It should be the quality of the work. So someone could sit there. I'm not trying to boast in any way, but someone could sit there pulling their hair out for 6-7 hours, maybe trying to do as much as I did in an hour and a half. So why should I sit there and keep pushing and pushing and pushing, eventually pulling my hair out because you're mentally exhausted and your creative spark isn't there and you're forcing it when I've managed to do it already? So if I can make a living even just off my books, for instance, then it affords me a better quality of life away from it, doesn't it? And the thing is, when people will judge you all the time, think that's lazy. I don't think it's lazy. I'm just fighting for my freedom. And it's something I've always fought for. So I'll touch on it here because what I mentioned throughout this specific chapter is that I don't lose sight of my vision. It doesn't matter what people expect of me. If they don't see the vision, it's because it's not theirs anyway. It's just people can call me what they want, but I'm still building the life that I want, and I'm not going to back down. A bit hard with the height of this because it's on the low. Wait a minute. I'm just going to, it's only the end. I'm not going to do the whole chapter. I'm just going to do it from here. It's going to be hard. My eyes might go all over. I really don't know because I've got to look down, It gets exhausting investing so much in myself, understanding the sacrifice it's taken and will continue to require. That alone is enough for anyone. Yet many of us carry the burden of others on our shoulders, which isn't reasonable. It's best to limit time around negative people, perhaps even remove them entirely from a social circle. As with everything, balance is crucial. Some people may not mean to be negative, nor realize the weight they place on our lives, but that doesn't negate the weight carried anyway. I'm not here to validate my life choices or dreams to anyone. It's a vision I carry within myself. How I accomplish goals is my prerogative. It's not for others to dictate. So we need to allow ourselves room to breathe, adapt and overcome, which is far simpler when we focus on ourselves. Right, I don't know if you've just missed an awful lot of what I've said or if it's there. It's just literally on pause. And I remember pausing when I was getting the laptop. So now I don't know if what I've just said is been missed. I'm just going to do it very, very brief because if it's been said, I look like an idiot saying it twice. Effectively, this chapter that I'm writing, that I wrote within an hour and a half the other day, it come from a situation in my life, and that then brought up a lot more circumstances that I thought particularly in other people's lives, and when people are suppressed and things. So it doesn't always just come just from me. It starts from me, and then I start thinking of a wider audience and the other people who maybe could do with seeing someone go after their dreams. I think sometimes, so that's what this book's about, really, stepping out the shadows. Yeah, I'm really worried because I don't know if I've already said things now. It's frustrating, this recording malarkey. It really is. You just hope everything just goes smoothly, but it's always something. So I don't know. I looked at the screen and it was paused, and I was like, well, when the hell did that pause? Did it unpause? Did it just pause? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to go. It says frustrating if it didn't capture what I just said. I hate that. But yeah, I'm going to read a little bit from this book. So effectively, like I said previously, I did this in an hour and a half. That's not to boast. It's just that's what I did. And that's what I'm striving for. I'm striving to live a more functional life where you have your freedom. I think the idea you work jobs that are late hours, where most of your days you're eating at work rather than at home, like your dinner. I think that's mental to me. That is absolutely mental. People don't reflect on their lives nearly enough. For me, you see jobs that are just late, a permanent late shift. It's like, why would I want to spend more days eating dinner at work than I do in my own home? No, you couldn't. No money in the world would get me doing that. No, that's crap. And yet people do it because they chase the money. It's like, I don't do none of that shit. I'm too busy trying to live a balanced life. I just want my freedom. So anyway, I'm going to read it again, hopefully. Oh, it's so annoying when it pauses like that, it's thrown me right off. It gets exhausting investing so much in myself, understanding the sacrifice it's taken and will continue to require. That alone is enough for anyone. Yet many of us carry the burden of others on our shoulders, which isn't reasonable. It's best to limit time around negative people and perhaps even remove them entirely from a social circle. As with everything, balance is crucial. Some people may not mean to be negative, nor realize the weight they place on our lives. But that doesn't negate the weight carried anyway. I'm not here to validate my life choices or dreams to anyone. It's a vision I carry within myself. How I accomplish goals is my prerogative. It's not for others to dictate. So we need to allow ourselves room to breathe, adapt and overcome, which is far simpler when we focus on ourselves rather than the noise around us. Life isn't always about accomplishing substantial goals, but merging everything we want into one. I have big dreams and smaller ambitions, and all of them are as important as the other. I write because I have something to share, and I create video content because I recognize that some people find watching easier than reading. In the process, I found various avenues to pursue. Fortunately, I found I'm equally adept at both. Aside from professional growth, I seek a balanced life, one that would be envied by others and criticized. However, that doesn't limit the life I envision and work towards. I want more free time to travel, experience the world and live life, not be bound by work demands. So breaking free from working 8 to 10-hour days and performing monotonous tasks feels like a waste of life to me. Wait a minute, I think I messed that up. I'm saying so breaking free from working and tasks. that's counter wrong. I've just got to get that one right. I've been there and done it. And while in short bursts it's doable, in the long term it's demoralizing and soul destroying. Yet it's societally expected of us. My wanting more for myself would threaten the illusion of success others live with. So it's hardly surprising that my lifestyle choices would be criticized. I don't believe that any of us were born to work ourselves to death, live through exhaustion and misery. It makes little sense when we have the freedom to decide otherwise. But change takes sacrifice and perhaps putting up with others' ignorance. Either way, our visions are our own. It's not for others to take away. So seeking better will likely come with many challenges, and people's criticism is hardly worth anyone's attention. Merely ignore set boundaries and move forward. People often try to derail the progress of those with ambitions because they feel threatened by their lifestyle choices. It's easier to be surrounded by familiarity. However, growth requires change, and people who settle into a life filled with the status quo refuse to accept it. But like I said, I've been really enjoying it, to be totally honest. Another chapter literally popped into my mind yesterday, I think it was. So I quickly jotted it down in on my phone. It's only like one little fragment of a sentence, really. It was more just to make me remember, and then I'll go on a tangent with it. But I was like, yeah, and I get excited when it's like that. But like I say, at the moment, it's pushing the book back because I'm writing fresh stuff constantly rather than editing the current backlog. So although work's getting done, it's not it's improving it, of course, but it's not making it finished any quicker. That's the only issue. But I mean, look, I can work fast once I focus. But at the moment, I don't feel like working fast. If I want like this, I could have had this done a lot further. So that's why I'm a little bit skeptical as to whether it's going to be done this year. Because I don't want it to be a burden. I want to enjoy the process. I want it to be when I want to work on it. Some days maybe I'll do a lot, some days a little, maybe sometimes nothing. It's just, I think that's where and I thought this the other day. I thought it's getting to that point with me now, and I think it's fine where I want to be able to relax and enjoy the process rather than feel the weight of it all the time. I don't want to feel like a workhorse. I've been there, I've done that, with the books. I've been there where I've like beat myself to death, like mentally. I've like really, really pushed on and done it as fast, like really, really. But it's exhausting, and you actually don't really appreciate it in the moment. You just like fed up. Obviously, I've read my books back multiple times, and I love them. So I'm really proud. But some of them maybe I could have been easier on myself, you know. So that's where I'm getting to. I'd rather just not be so exhausted with it all. But yeah, when finances get tight, it just gets a bit much. Life gets a bit heavy, doesn't it? Everybody's going through something. I think that's the thing. So again, all I want really is to be a reflection for other people. It's not a case of I want people to go, oh, look at this pause. Everyone's going through something. I want people just to recognize that it's not a case of, oh, what you're going through isn't valid. It's more like it is valid because we're all going through something. There's a hardship we carry, you know, and it could be one of many things, or it could be multiple things. But it's almost like at the same time we have to keep pushing forward, pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and keep going. But it's okay to have relapses, you know. It's okay to process. That's part of the healing journey. So like I say, I thought about the videos I did before I had the little break, and I thought, yeah, that's probably not going to come across too well. But I also like some of it though. Like when I watched them back before I went and spent time with my daughter, like there were certain parts of the videos that I thought were deeply important. So if I was to remove them, for instance, I just feel like that if anyone ever sees them, you're going to miss part of the journey, you know? So I'd rather keep them there and lose some followers or subscribers, whatever you want to call it. I did leave TikTok. However, I come back, I don't know at the moment. It's like I prefer to be in the shadows, to be totally honest. I've got a couple of other TikTok channels. Not that I care, you know. It's not like I'm doing anything nefarious. It's just they're there, so I can still access content if I just feel indulgent one day. Like yesterday, I watched a few videos, got bored quite quick, so I just turn it off again. But it allows me just a little window, and it's not. But I don't think I'll bring my main channel back because it's not for that. I don't see myself creating content on social media anymore. I don't really want to. I find it exhausting, and it's not for me. Direction of social media isn't where I'm heading. Personally, just the way it is. So I'm more than happy just to like see the odd bit of content and not feel obliged to do anything myself, you know. Yeah, anyway. That's my little update really. I don't know if I've covered every little thing, but yeah, I mean, I quite like my little bubble of peace, to be totally honest. Sometimes you just just wish things were a little bit nicer. You know, I think we all, you know, I wouldn't say all because I think it depends where you're at in life, isn't it? But I think deep down, most of us crave intimacy in whatever form that is, whatever you crave. I mean, I think that sometimes it'd be nice to have that companion, but I'm not someone that force anything. I wouldn't want to be the wrong person because that's a nightmare. But I can't help but think how beautiful it would be to be with the right person, and that gives me hope. It's something that, you know, although I like my independence and I do like my space, so I think it probably comes across quite clearly. I reckon, without intentionally doing so, I'm pretty sure it comes across that I'm very independent, and I like my company. But I do recognise there's something deeply missing, and it'd be nice if it wasn't. So it'd be nice to be able to share my life with someone, I think, you know. But yeah, you can't. It's not something you can really rush. Hopefully, life will work out one way or another with that, you know. But that's something that's missing there. So they're really what I miss is that, and the obviously finance is improving, but not at the sacrifice of too much. You know, at the end of the day, I just want things to pick up and improve, and I think I deserve the breakthrough. That's the thing within myself. I feel I've worked hard for years, and it's just can't be for nothing. So anyway, we'll just see where life takes us. I think at the moment, I feel Spirit's giving me the blessings I need in given moments just to keep me, I think really to keep me focused and to keep me inspired. I think it's like when I down tools, it can get quite heavy. It obviously doesn't help anybody, but it's the human experience. It's not easy. But I do sort of have a perspective shift sometimes, and then I pick myself back up and keep going because I recognize, you know, it's like I said before in other videos. It's if let's say your blessing, like your ultimate blessing, is going to be coming in a month. Probably unrealistic, but who knows when things happen. Let's say your ultimate blessing happens in a month. If you'd known that specific day, you probably would have relaxed. Well, you would have relaxed, really. and would have done things differently. Maybe had a bit more pep in your step. But because we don't know when the breakthrough comes, it literally could just be on the other side of a day. But we don't know that. And you can only carry so much on your shoulders, I think, personally, before you have to focus on it and work through it. So that's the thing. I think, some people will look things and they think maybe it's unhinged or you're so reactive, all these things, but you have to process. If you don't process, it's just going to bury you. It literally bury you because you're not facing your problems. So, like, I'm not someone that hides my problems. I'd rather just, like, vocalize it immediately, deal with it, get it done. Even if it's a tantrum, even if it's like anger, even if it's this and that, it has to be worked through. Otherwise, it just carries you, and you've got this huge weight on your shoulders every day. That's not a good place to be. So if I can't be productive because I'm working on something else, like I'm working through something in life, then I'm not going to be productive because I've got to work on something. I'm not going to keep doing this and this and this juggle. If it means I've got to take a day or a week, I've got to do this to get through that, I'm going to get through that. Then I'm going to get back on to what I need to do. But like I say, I'm not sure how much video content I really need to create. That's the thing. So like I say, I really I got the computer working. I'm liking my gaming. I'm trying to think where I might record, where I might not record, and it's all up in the air. But realistically, video-wise, I think it probably will likely only be gaming content for the foreseeable future, just while I work on the book. But even then, I don't know if it's going to happen. I might create a completely new channel. At this point, I haven't even decided. Because on the one hand, it's work. If we're going to work, then work on the book. On the other hand, if I'm already playing a game, why not just share it? But then it opens up a whole new can of worms. How much is too much? I also need, before I finish, to sort my website out. I am a month behind on the payment for that. It's not like a debt. It's more like a bill. It's not a debt because it's not something that carries over. They'll just cancel it after if it's too long. But if anyone ever tries to reach out to me, you'll probably find emails bounce and all sorts of shit because it's all tied to the website. So if the website's down, the email to that's down. If the email's down, that there's no communication. So on the one hand, it's stupid not to have it. On the other hand, I've had it for years and I haven't really had much of a breakthrough. And it costs me every month. I create the websites myself, but you have to host it somewhere to be on the internet. And that's all I do. I don't pay anyone to create the websites, but I do pay a hosting fee, just like everybody else does. And I have to pay to own the domains and all sorts, And it's getting to the point where it's costing me with no return. And life gets heavier and heavier. So maybe we cut loose. But it's because it's something that is your brand, it makes sense to keep it. But anyway, I just thought I'd really put that out there, that maybe I reactivate the website and maybe I update it briefly. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully it's gone some way. I'm sure, although maybe there's a little bit of frustration in there a little bit, I'm sure if we compared, I haven't seen the video recently, the last one, but I'm sure the energy between the two will be very different. And that's because I've been with my daughter. But, I have to process it when I come home. I get lonely, I get fed up that she's not here. And it's like things I have to work through, Funny how life isn't straightforward or fair. But you can only deal with what you got in front of you, Anyway, just that brief update, really. I think it's been a longer update than one would consider brief, but I'm really hoping there's been no issue. I mean, obviously there was the issue with the pause, which is a freaking nightmare. But I'm hoping there's no audio issue because that would really annoy me. But yeah, if people don't hear from me for the rest of the year, then I wish you a happy Christmas, Merry New Year, all that New Year stuff. Hopefully people's lives start to improve. Once people's lives improves, it benefits all those around them, doesn't it? Even if they don't realize it, if you have to let people go and you heal, people will be aware of that and it will inspire them from a distance. So, sometimes it's best, what do you call it? I think it's best to say it's cruel to be kind, but you get the message there. Sometimes it's worth being cruel to be kind. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. I don't think there is. One little thing just before I finish. Mental. So I get home and there's a £5 note, similar to $5, I guess. I don't know if they have dollars notes. I can't remember now. Oh, but anyway, £5 note right by my door. So I come home. There's a £5 note sitting on the floor, and I thought that's weird. I didn't notice it at first, but I turned and went, "Is it?" I was like, "What the hell's that doing there?" And then I noticed there was like 2 white feathers as well by my door. And I was like, that's some strange shit. You know, because they often say that, those spirits want your attention, they'll put like feathers. Anyway, people can think what they want, but that was strange to me. On top of all the other things that have been going well for me there, like, you know what I mean? I needed the money, it's sold. Things sold. Spending time with my daughter. I'd been, if nothing sold, I'd have been at an incredible disadvantage with my daughter, spending time doing anything, you know. But the PlayStation sold, which allowed me to travel. But I said to my mum, I can't spend a lot because every time I see her, we spend money that I end up struggling when I get home. And we were out and about. Again, I'm spending money I just don't really have. And it's like, oh, goddamn. But then the laptop sold, and it was like, oh, this is, thankfully, you know, it gives me a bit of breathing room, and I don't have to feel bad about the money I've just spent there. So I bought her a couple of things for Christmas that she liked. And I said, you have to wait till Christmas, though, because we're going to have nothing for Christmas at this rate if you keep having everything. But yeah, and like I said, one of the things there where I learned, where I'm carrying the trauma to a degree, is I took her to a shop that she really wanted to go to. But when I got home, I thought to myself, I think maybe I rushed around the shop a bit there. Like, she didn't say anything. She didn't really complain. But I felt a little bit bad. So when we went out a couple of days later, we had to go somewhere else. And while I was in the car, I said, do you want to go back there? Because I think I rushed you, and I didn't mean to. And she did want to go back. She said, yeah, if we can. And then I allowed her just a complete freedom just to walk around, you know, just do it at your own pace. So I felt really bad about it when I realized it wasn't intentional. I didn't even, obviously when you're doing it, you don't notice. I felt really bad about that, you know. But you don't probably get to go in that shop often because, like, where she is, her mum doesn't drive and things. And she was looking forward to going there, and I just felt really, you know, I felt bad about that. But yeah, anyway, just experience. It was nice for her to get things. Anyway, that's that. So really, if you're seeing me smiling a little bit more, I seem a bit better. It's really because I spent time with my daughter, and she just gives me life.